Hello. Today we are looking at my review for Midnight Magic by Sara Richard. So this is a fungi themed mass market deck. So this is the box. It comes in, it's all around. It's got a weird insert here, and sometimes, as you can see, the cards get stuck underneath it, so this bit comes out. So I don't love that. I can see they've done that because the guidebook is bigger than the cards, but I'm not a huge fan of the box. Okay, so we have the guidebook here, which is full color, and I think that's awesome, and it's glossy pages, which for a mass market I think is fab. There's an introduction, how to use the deck, some tips, and a few basic spreads, and then it gets into the cards. So the cards have got the major arcana information there. One full color picture for the majors, which is awesome, with the name, the name of the mushrooms, information about the mushrooms, the upright with some keywords a little bit, and the same for reversed. So I think that is great. Now the minor arcana have a little bit less, but it's still enough. It's enough and it does the job. So I'm pretty pleased with the guidebook. Could I have had more? Yes, but for mass market, it is fine. So these are the cards. I don't love the backs. I just think they're really dull for what could have been a vibrant deck. Like even something to do with that one would have been more eye-catching. I just think they're very, very neutral and a bit lackluster. Now mine came bowed, so it is quite bowed out the box. And the paper, the cardstock, I don't like it, my dudes. It's just that, look, it's satin, which great, but it's that really, like you can see just doing that bends it, cardboardy type of cardstock. And I guess, yeah, you can say, well, mass market's like that, but I think there's better for mass market than this type of cardstock. But it shuffles fine overhanded. I'll just show you. So it shuffles fine because it's satin. So I can never shuffle on camera. I don't know about anybody else, but as soon as I try to shuffle on camera, it just doesn't go down. So it shuffles okay. I don't know how it shuffles because I didn't do that. So I will show you what I paired it with while I talk to you a bit more about it. So I decided to pair this dude with, what's this called again? The Magic and Mediums Oracle. So I'll put that down here on this side, Magic and Mediums Oracle. And I also paired it with Shadows and Light because I just wanted that moody kind of feel, and I felt like with this deck there was a lot of sort of bronzes and browns, and these two decks have that with them. Okay, so let's talk about how the deck reads. The deck reads really well. I'm actually really happy with how it reads for me, but that's like a very personal thing. How does it read? Well, that's subjective to each person. But for me, I definitely feel like the answers were on point and very clear. Like it was, the voice of the deck for me is quite succinct and easy to understand. It's quite loud, to be honest. It's just like, this is straight away. Before I even got to the guidebook, I knew what it was talking about and what it was telling me. So in that regards, fantastic. How all of these worked together, I love them together. Look, this one might be the odd guy out in this bit. These two loved each other, absolutely. But I still found really cohesive messages from the three of them working together, and I loved the way that they looked together as well. So I actually had a lot of fun with these guys. The deck itself, I love the breadth of mushrooms that are in it. I think they're awesome. So I loved all the types, and I'm having a blast learning about them. So the mushroom element, I'm definitely being satisfied with. The meanings that they put in the guidebook are great, and I can understand why they've chosen each fungi for each card. So that all makes sense to me. I might read out from the guidebook before I continue talking about it so you can see how it reads. So for death, for instance, we have the Destroying Angel mushroom. Beautiful, yet very toxic mushroom that emerges from a protective egg-like sac. The Destroying Angel is a beacon white summer sight. The mushroom transforms from a stubby armored button into an elegant bone-pale creature, holding its own on the ruthless forest floor. Let this card remind you that death isn't to be feared, but respected as a transition and a necessary part of life. Upright. Transformation, new beginnings, transition, letting go. The Death card has come to remind you to accept your current transition. New beginnings come at the end of a cycle, and renewal is headed your way. While the transformation may be uncomfortable, you may find yourself able to fly much more freely when you emerge from this cocoon. Reversed, resistance to change, lack of progress, immobility. Don't postpone what needs to come to pass any longer. You are on the verge of a major shift, but may be resisting it. Accept change in all its forms to avoid getting stuck in stagnation. You may be going through a massive personal transformation hidden from those around you. Experience it, own it, and if you're comfortable, share your story when you've succeeded. It will be an inspiration to someone. So as you can see, I think that even though it's quite short and brief, the guidebook, it is well written. I really did like the messages that they put together. So here you have the Hierophant with sex magic and be your true self. I love that. So I think the colours really played well together with this. Six of Pentacles with attraction and sweet memories. Are you kidding me? Isn't that gorgeous? So like I said, I loved the colour aesthetics of these decks working together. I do like the illustrations in this deck, so I do like the artwork. Sometimes there are borders, sometimes there are not. There seems to be a little bit of a colour theme with each suit, but not 100%. I love the Amanita muscaria mushrooms. That's my favourites, the fly agarics. But I like want to not like this deck because of the cardstock. That's all it really. It's the cardstock just completely let me down. I'm not a fan, and I don't like the backs. I really don't. I think they could have been so much more marvelous. But I actually do like this deck. Is it the mushroom deck of my dreams? No, it is not. But so far, it is the deck I've liked the most. There are some other decks that seem artistic-wise to be gorgeous. Like Meg put a mushroom deck up recently, and I love the artwork. I just love the way it looks. But she did say that the guidebook is pretty crap. And so that's putting me off because with the mushroom decks, I do want a good guidebook. I want information about the mushrooms, but also because that's an oracle deck, I need some good write-ups for oracle decks. So like I said, as a tarot deck, this does work for me. I'm not sure if it's going to be, the deck I keep for the rest of my life. I still will keep an eye out for another mushroom deck. So it hasn't quite satisfied that mushroom deck niche for me, but it is definitely a placeholder. Like I said, it's a great option, especially as a mainstream deck, a mass market deck. It is fairly affordable. I love the way it looks. The guidebook works. It's got enough information there for me. It reads really well. We get along. So yeah, I do really like it. I don't love it, but I'm definitely going to keep it. I'm definitely going to have a play with it. It does, though, definitely feel like a winter/autumn deck for me. It's got that kind of energy. It's not a deck I think I would ever be called to use in the spring or summer, not just because of the aesthetics of the deck, but because the energy itself is just sort of one of those ones that has that cool crispness of autumn and winter to it. And so that's why I think I would be using that deck mostly in those seasons. But yeah, I really loved playing with it. I had a fun time, and that's also what you want as well. You want to just be able to enjoy yourself while you use a deck and to like using it. And I loved it with these other two decks. I thought it was fabulous. We'll end it with Eight of Cups, Journey, and Autumn is my last chance. Please don't lose hope. So yeah, I had a great time with the deck, and I will definitely be keeping it for now. It's like I said, it's not my favorite, but it does the job. I do like the illustrations. I think they're very pretty. I'm going to see if I can unbow it because it's just so bowed. It's so bowed. I will probably edge it as well, most likely in that pewter sort of color, or maybe even in this one. They've got quite a few of those flowers, but I'm not sure. I have to play with it a bit longer to see what color wants to come out. But yeah, so this was the Midnight Magic Tarot deck, and I hope that wherever you are having a magical morning, afternoon, or evening. And as always, stay wild, Star Child.